again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Around the Town with Chuck. My name is Chuck Guglielmo, a weekly community interview show where we talk with interesting people around the community. And today my guest is Tammy Hagstrom, and we are taping the show on Tuesday, February the 13th. Tammy, thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Many people probably know you as Tammy Church.
Yes.
And Tammy, of course, I brought Tammy in because we're going to do a lot of talking about CLYO, and it's always good to talk about that because that means we're getting into warmer weather.
Thank you, yes.
But first, Tammy Church is a Hall of Famer basketball player at Conneaut, and I was digging up some numbers on you, Tammy. You played volleyball, basketball, and baseball. Softball,
yes.
I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. And softball, and of course basketball is probably your favorite?
Absolutely, yes. 12
varsity letters in the 3 sports.
Yes.
That's amazing. And what's even more amazing, in your sophomore year, you averaged a double-double. Matter of fact, every year in high school, you averaged a double-double. What are you most proud of?
I'm most proud of my rebounding records, only because I'm fairly tall. I'm about 5'10" most days. But I played against a lot of girls that were quite a bit taller than I was, and it just, proved that it was more of, positioning and want, and, who wanted the ball more. And so there was one game that I actually out-rebounded the whole other team, if the story is correct.
As a sophomore, second team All-NEC and second team All-County. These are great honors. And we're talking what era here? I graduated. I don't want you to give your age away.
That's right. I graduated in 1989, so.
Okay, I was thinking mid-'80s. Okay.
Late 80s.
Who was your coach?
My freshman year was Greg Lucas. The year before I came into the high school, it was Paul Ruland was the coach, and that was the fantastic team that they went. I think they went 20-0 for the season. Lost a heartbreaker down in Boardman, and they were some fantastic girls there. And then he took a job somewhere else, and we had no coach. And so Greg Lucas, which is Gloria Lucas' dad.
The name's ringing a bell, but I can't picture.
I can't tell you what her married name is, and I apologize. Her and her sister Michelle both work, I think, for the post office. So it was their dad. Gloria didn't play basketball, but Michelle did. Mm-hmm. And so he was our coach our freshman year, and then Dave Simpson took over the next 3 years.
Mm-hmm. Tammy, who were some of the teammates you played for back then on the basketball team?
Oh, gosh. Well, let's see. Michelle Lucas, Irene Johnson, Rose Goodlow, Vicki Klein, off the top of my
That's
head,
pretty good memory.
Katie Esther, of course, Nancy Nunes, Nikki Nunes, Carissa Billajama, Paula Horwood.
Okay. A lot of those names I recognize, yes. How did we fare in the standings?
We didn't fare especially well. I would have gladly given up any of my honors for a title. We did okay. I think we maybe finished. Honestly, I can't remember. But like I said, we never won a title outright.
Mm-hmm. I know one thing you're going to remember: a career 21 rebounds in one game against Riverside. Was that a home game?
No, it was away.
Wow, 21 rebounds. That is. I look at all these numbers and it's astounding to me. First team All-NEC, first team All-County in your junior year, averaging again 14.6 rebounds with that career high, 13 points a game. And then in your senior year, you only averaged 15 rebounds a year.
Yeah, I got lazy.
Player of the year. It gets better and better and better with Tammy. Player of the year and All-NEC co-player All-County team. Just incredible. And you have a nephew who was incredible that played for Conneaut, Tom Church.
Yes.
Also coached a year in Conneaut.
Mm-hmm.
Give us a little update on him.
Well, Tom is currently the head coach at Indiana University of Kokomo, and this is his first year coaching, and he is just taking this program to new heights. They've just won more games this year than they ever have in their career, and they're starting into their tournament. I believe it's coming up this week, in pretty good standing. So he's done very well with that program.
Very good. More awards for Tammy. Star Beacon Player of the Game in 1989 in the All-Star Game. You were an MVP for Conneaut.
That was played, I remember, in the Ashtabula
Ball Gymnasium.
Yeah, in the pool, we used to call it.
Yeah. I mean, they just keep on coming. I guess you had a record season in points, 382. 382 points with a high game of 36. You remember who that was against? There's so many numbers, so I'm going to throw at you.
I know. I don't remember, but I do remember it wasn't, if I recall, it wasn't a padded scoring either. It was a fairly close game that all of those points were needed. It wasn't like, go in the game and
right.
Run up your stats.
The 3-point shot was in effect then. Oh, it was not in effect, and you had 36 points.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Of course, you're kind of involved with the girls' basketball of today. Tammy, what do you see different about the girls' basketball today versus when you played, or don't you see anything different?
Oh, no, yeah, there's a lot of difference, especially with the introduction of the 3-point line. So the outside game is a lot more, there's a lot more movement. It seems a lot more physical. I helped a couple of years, and I know I was getting pounded by those girls, and I thought, oh my gosh, if they had played the same game then, I don't know if I would have done it as well. But when I was 15, 16, 17, 18, like them, I would have been able to push a old lady around then too.
Would you like to coach?
I really enjoy it. I wouldn't ever want to be the head coach. I've coached.
Yeah, that's what I meant to say. Would you like to be a head coach?
No. Oh my gosh, there is so much pressure on the head coaches. Tim and Tony.
From parents, you mean? Parents,
players, expectations. Especially when the teams don't meet the expectations of the outside of the crowd. But there's just so much that goes into making a team. You can't necessarily take the best players and make a good team, because you got to have that cohesiveness and somebody that's able to lead that and see. You can't fit your kids into your style. It's not college where you can hand pick and say, well, we need this, we need that. If you got 6 short kids, and you got to figure out how to play a short game.
But you still love the game as much today as you did back when you played?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. And that'll always stick with you. And of course, you played volleyball and softball. How did those teams fare? Do you remember?
Honestly,
what were you in softball? What position?
I pitched and played first base.
Okay. Don't remember. Didn't follow it.
It was quite a while ago. Volleyball, honestly, I played to get in shape or stay in shape for basketball. I liked playing volleyball, but it wasn't, wanted to, absolutely play sport. And I joked that if they had soccer in high school back then, I would have played soccer over volleyball.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah.
So
I love playing soccer down at Skip-On, yeah.
Okay. Skipping up. Remember that, because I was going to ask you a question about that too. One more statistic, and then we're going to talk about CLYO, the real reason I brought you in. But when I saw all this, I said, I got to start with this. Player of the Year in rebounding for 3 years. Of all these accomplishments, which one, just obviously being selected to the Hall of Fame is probably the top one, but not counting that one, what are you most proud of? Your points, your rebounds, being the Players of the Year, MVP for Conneaut? What stands out? All of it does, I realize that, but anything ringing a bell with you right now?
Oh yeah, it all rings a bell. It seems like it was so long ago.
36-point game, the 21 rebound game. Your parents had to be so proud.
Oh yes, my parents are very proud. My dad made scrapbooks for me, and I've got them today. And occasionally my kids will flip through them and say, "Oh wow, I guess you kind of did know a little bit about what you're talking about.
Very sports-minded family.
Yes.
Well, like I say, Tammy Hagstrom is my guest on here on Around the Town with Chuck, and now we're going to talk a little bit about CLYO, which stands for Conneaut Local Youth Organization. And you brought up skip-on. Back in the day, I remember it was called skip-on field. Tell us why it had that name.
So it was founded in, and I was trying to find my information. Dad, before he passed, we wrote a history out, and of course the last couple of days we've had the flu at my house, and so I just couldn't get off the couch to dig for it. But it was founded in approximately 1951. My dad joined the board in 1952, or it was 52 and he was on in 53, but around the area. And it was just for boys at the time. And they played over at GE. They made a field, and they played there through like 60, I talked to my brother, around 66, GE expanded their parking lot, so they took over the field. And at that time, Bill or William Skip-on had donated all the land where CLYO is currently, so it was Skip-on Field.
Of course, Tammy's dad, Harry Church, a big icon here in the city of Conneaut, and worked a lot at the CLYO as a groundskeeper. He had a crew, I'm sure. If it rained in the morning and we had some clearing coming around 1 o'clock, it was pretty good that you were going to play baseball or whatever sport they had down there at 6 o'clock in the evening.
Yeah, that was always one
he
of
did
my
everything
dad's
he could to get that.
greatest things. He would say, it's raining in the morning. We didn't miss any games at our fields because he was right there.
Does it drain very well down there, Tammy? It does not drain very well.
No.
How many fields are down there now? Counting the high school baseball field.
At one time we had 9, and we're down to 7. We have, because the high school has now in the PIAA league, Pennsylvania leagues, their JV and varsity play one after the other. Varsity plays first, and then light and time JV plays. So they used to play, JV would play on the front field as you come down. And 2 of our board members, Keith Sherman and Greg Brown, took that field out so we could bring soccer back down to CLYO. For the last few years, soccer has become one of the major sports.
Yeah.
And baseball has really dipped terribly.
Well, you can tell that when they get to the pros, too. Baseball's struggling to find the American players.
Yes.
Soccer, baseball, T-ball still down there?
T-ball, coach pitch.
Little league, minor league, baseball, gadget league? Or that's T-ball, right?
They're called different now. It's coach pitch, and that's ages 5 and 6. Or excuse me, there's T-ball, and that's 5 and 6. Coach pitch is 6 to 8. And then it's minor leagues, and that's when they split off boys and girls. And that's 9 and 10, and then Major League is 11, 12, and Junior League is 13, 14.
Okay, I remember that being called Pony League at one time.
Yeah, there was Pony League, Gadget League, and then had the Senior League or Big League. But yeah, it's all changed now through Little League.
So Tammy, take us through the seasons of the sport. Now football's down there too, right? Flag football.
We've had football the last, I can't tell you how many years. It was probably maybe in the 70s that football started down at CLYO. That is also struggling too. They've gone to what's called a freeway league, where they travel and play other teams. Right now, this year's CLYO is not having football. We are in the works trying to talk with different organizations in the area to see if they would be a better fit somewhere else. It's not official. It's just something we're looking at. We have a 20-member board. We have the room for 20 members. We have 12 currently. And the numbers are just getting worse and worse for players, and then trying to get coaches and trying to get other teams to play. Back when I played down at CLYO, which is, over 30, 40 years ago, we never left the complex because there was, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different teams in your league, and you played all of those teams. And now, the last 2 or 3 years, different towns, their little league is gone, so you're having to travel farther and farther. I coached my boys, and a few times we had to go to Madison and Paynesville to play games because there aren't any more local.
Mm-hmm. Is this the time of the year now, February, March, where they could start signing up for baseball?
Yes,
How do they tell everybody how they can do that?
Well, they can go online to clyo.org, clyo.org, and at the top of the page, and you probably should use at least a tablet or a desktop. On your phone, the writing is a little small and it's difficult to see. And at the top there are banners, and one says baseball, softball, one says soccer, and one says football. You just click on one of those banners, and then it will take you to a place that you can sign in, and it's all online.
What's the fee?
It is $55. It is $40 for coach pitch and t-ball. It's $35 for soccer. And regular baseball, softball is still $55, and then there's a family discount that will be applied.
For multiple
Yeah.
kids playing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's, and they have to register, obviously.
Yes, they have to register. We have always tried to, I lost my paper, accommodate people. A lot of people, we forgot about it, we didn't do it, but what happens is we have to cut off a team because you can only take so many on the team, and then at late notice there's 5 or 6 kids that says, oh well, we could have played. Well, at some point you have to make that determination, and so we're going to try hard and fast that there will not be any sign-ups. I'm trying to find where it is on my paper, and I'm missing it. I believe it's March 24th.
Okay.
Is the absolute last day that we will take signups, because we'll need to start practices. I think it's like the 1st of April, trying to give at least a week to get the coaches and teams picked and things settled that way.
You mentioned struggles in those areas. Is it a struggle to find coaches?
Yes, most likely I'll be calling people, or whoever the president of that particular league is will call, and your son or daughter is playing, would you be able to at least assistant coach, or can you and somebody tag team to get, because nobody, not that nobody wants to, not a lot of people are stepping up, whether they're concerned that they don't know enough about whatever sport they're playing, whether they're concerned that they just don't have the time commitment, because it really is a lot of time. And
So there's activity down there every night of the week, right?
Usually, yeah. And then, but that's one of the things with us, all of the sports traveling, and you start traveling right at minors. So your 8-9-year-old can be traveling to Andover or Ashtabula any night of the week. So occasionally there are nights that there aren't any games going on, but usually there's at least practices going on.
Mm-hmm. What about game officials? Do you struggle finding them?
We do. We have put out a couple of times, if you want to become Ohio high school certified or Pennsylvania certified, we have that on our Facebook page for CLYO, and those actually had already started. But I will call people that I know have umpired in the past. Are you willing to, are you able to, can you donate any time, things like that. We do offer a small fee for them to come in and umpire, just because it's so difficult to get quality.
Are you able to utilize high school students to do umpiring or anything like that?
We have tried. We do offer, either you can get paid for it or you can get community service hours, since they need 25 hours to graduate. I've had just a couple of kids that have taken me up on that, but we're always open, and I usually put something out at the high school to say, hey, if you're interested in wanting to umpire or official soccer.
Let's talk a little bit, we'll close with this, we'll talk a little bit about your dad, because like I said, he was an icon. What's it called down there now, Harry Church Drive?
Harry Church Drive.
Harry, what a recognition that is. That is outstanding. And that's not all he did. I mean, for the community, he, for years, I remember him calling bingo numbers.
Right.
That was at one of these halls around
Yeah, at the
here,
Odd
wasn't it?
Fellows Hall.
Yeah.
On Liberty Street, and that a lot of that money was then given to CLYO, so it was kind of an in-kind
And on
service.
top of all that, he still was able to tell you everything you wanted to know about the Indians, the Browns, and the Cavaliers.
Yes, that's why I was worried you were going to quiz me like that. I don't know how he did it, but he could name every player.
Amazing,
from
even in
almost
his
any
older
year.
years.
Oh yeah.
He was just one amazing gentleman.
Yes.
And it shows in the children as well, because you guys are all great athletes. You're all sports. Was your mother sports-minded?
Well, when Mom was in high school, they didn't have, separate women's sports. It was just a gym kind of thing. But yeah, she bowled and she was
But
active.
with your dad there, did she have to become a sportsman? Did he say,
No.
watch this game tonight?
No, there were a lot of nights that she sat through watching games, but my parents had very strong ties with each other and things that they liked to do together, and then they had things that they very much liked to do apart, and I think that's what kept their marriage so strong. Dad would go down to skip on field, and I know my husband feels my mother's pain now because I will be down there for hours on end. But she would be with her friends. She'd play cards. She'd go to bingo and things like that. So,
So who's doing the groundskeeping down there now?
it's kind of a mix. I have to say thank you very much to John Eaton. He has been doing the majority of the mowing the last couple of years.
Is that JJ's dad?
Yes.
Okay.
And Scott Edwards and myself, we do a lot of the maintenance on the fields. Keith Sherman, Greg Brown have done quite a bit the last couple of years. It's just whoever has time to come down and try to get things going. And, the first part of the season is always the hardest because trying to turn the fields over and make sure that they're all ready to go for the first games. And with our weather, you just never know.
Yeah.
We're supposed to start April 1st, but we've had snow on the ground on
Yeah.
April 1st before.
Probably May 1st too.
Yeah.
Well, Tammy, this has been fun. Next time your nephew Tom comes into town, let me know. I'd like to get him on the show.
That
I
would be
would
great.
love to talk with Tom about his coaching and his career and his playing days at Conneaut High School, because he's got some great numbers too. I know he'd
does.
be in my top 10
Yeah.
of all the Spartans. There's no question about that. And so thanks for coming on.
Well, thank you for having me.
Tammy Hagstrom, Hall of Fame athlete at Conneaut High School, my guest today on Around the Town with Chuck.